You don't need it?
Yeah, I have trash. Just sit it by the door. You can throw it
You
out
got
the
the water, Jamil? The water?
trash can come out.
The water?
Oh. Chicken, you water?
Please. Fadal Nafis.
You do this to the battery, it'll do it.
Question answered.
Bismillah. Question from online, from USA, Philadelphia. When combining salah in a masjid, do you wait after the first salah or call the iqamah immediate after the first salah?
I'm not clear. I'm not clear on the question. The question is not clear. If you combine in the salah,
When combining salah in a masjid, do you wait after the first salah or call the iqamah immediately after the first salah?
somebody is making the salah by themselves, wait for the iqamah of the jama'ah. I'm not clear on the specifics of the question. I'm not clear.
Initial AK from Australia.
You tell the brother or the sister, please, to retype the question and explain exactly what they mean, inshallah, the way we can help them out. Bidnillah. Bidnillah. Please tell them that. Inshallah, it's not clear. Sorry.
Next question are initials AK from Australia. If someone wants to seek knowledge and has decent Arabic understanding, decent Arabic reading, understanding, and talking, isn't able to go to Saudi or Medina to study hadith, etc., in your opinion, where would be the next place to go and seek knowledge if someone wants to seek knowledge overseas?
After Saudi Arabia? After Saudi?
Saudi or Medina? Study hadith.
Type. Hadith or just Islam?
So just hadith.
As far as hadith, I would say hadith is not exclusive to a country or race or a people. As far as a program, then it depends on what's available. There are many scholars, many students, many places, but what's available? What's available? And let's make an example of this. Just an example, okay? Yemen, the country of Yemen. No doubt, there are many great ulama, tulab of hadith there in Yemen. But is Yemen necessarily accessible? Can you go to Yemen? Can you get a visa to Yemen? You see what I'm saying to you? So if you can't necessarily get there, if it isn't accessible, then it's going to automatically eliminate that option. So more specifically, we need to find out what's available. You see what I'm saying to you? So there are many places you can go. Obviously, the advantage of the Gulf countries, as we said before, is the Gulf countries, they're generally accessible, easily accessed. Going there, visa, scholarship, coming back because of the political connections, the relations that are shared between UK, America, Australia, the Western powers, and the Gulf countries. So there lies no doubt, if a person couldn't go to Saudi Arabia and Medina, but they could go to another location, such as Kuwait, for example. Okay, then that would be a perfect option because of the simplicity and ease of going to the country. But you take a place like Yemen, which may not be that easy. Or you may have other countries. You may have a country in the African continent in which there are ulama of hadith. There are tulab of hadith, graduates from the masters, from the doctor's program there. But finding them and having the availability and them accepting you and bringing them in, how you want to stay? What type of visa you want to stay there with? Where you want to stay? I'll allow you to stay in my house, but it's against the rules of the country. The sheikh, he may tell you, you can stay in my library. I'll adopt you as my son. But I can if I wanted to. You see what I'm saying to you? It's going to be illegal. When you go back to your country, you see what I'm saying to you? So it has to be what's based off of what's what? Accessible. So whether that's Egypt, or whether it's Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, South Africa, any place that has some type of established center for formal hadith studies or informal, and it's accessible, you can enter and exit the country, then that's what you should do. Obviously, I don't know of all the specific places. I haven't been there. I know in general, atmosphere, for example, like I said, Kuwait or Yemen, for example, is well known. Gambia. I have many classmates, many brothers who came before me who finished their hadith studies that came from Gambia. But can you get to Gambia, Senegal, Mauritania? Is it legal? You understand? And if it is illegal and you don't mind doing that, that's fine. But you just have to realize that there's certain things you don't have to deal with when you come back. You see what I'm saying to you? Even if it is legal. When I went to Yemen, it was over 10 years ago, 12, 13 years ago, I went to Yemen. I stayed there. To this day, there's certain responsibilities and certain repercussions, things that I have to deal with because I was in Yemen and I went to Yemen. And every time I travel, there's a certain process, there's a certain list because I was in Yemen. Everybody understand this? I realized that and I was willing to make that sacrifice. I don't care and I don't. Everybody's not like that. So if that is your attitude, then bismillah, do it. Because knowledge is precious. Knowledge is of immeasurable worth and value. The ilm that you may learn in a month, in a year, in 5 years in that country may be worth all of the hardships that you have to go through later on in the airport, so on and so forth. But if that's not your attitude, then don't do it. Don't do it. Everybody understand this? So I would say any place, number one, that has a formal hadith program. Number two, if it's not formal in a university, in a ma'had, okay, a kulliya or whatever, then a well-known scholar, or even if not a scholar, a student of hadith, that's trusted, that's respected, that has the necessary qualifications, all the things that are included in that, and you contacted him, you corresponded with them, I'll come there, I have my own money, I'll stay, I'll get an apartment, I'll sleep wherever, and you can tutor me in hadith. Alhamdulillah. That's what? That's alhamdulillah. And if you can't find that overseas, and you're in Australia, and maybe a brother, student of hadith in Australia that can teach you. You understand what I'm saying? But as far as the specific question, traveling abroad, those are the points that you want to look after, huh? Those points right there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best.
Question from online. Anis.
Did the questioner from Philadelphia respond back?
That was from other night. Other night's question. So. Anis from Behan, UK. May Allah make your scale of good deeds heavy, Ameen. What is the etiquette and correct procedure for making ruqyah on oneself? There's a collage of questions about ruqyah, so I'm going to try to put them together, inshallah. Another brother asked, Farad from Sweden, may Allah preserve you. I'm a person who knows how to read the Quran with his rules. Walillah alhamd. A friend has asked me to read Ayatul Kursi over his friend who is possessed by a jinn, and I do not have knowledge of ruqyah. Can I read on him? And the other night, brother asked, Brother Rashid, Sheikh Rashid, Abu Amani, Barakallahu Fikum, is performing ruqyah dangerous? Some brothers say things like, I wouldn't advise you to do it, you're not strong enough, or the jinn will come back and haunt you and all your family. So what is your advice for someone who has been requested to perform ruqyah? Should they avoid it, seek someone more qualified, or leave it all alone? leave it alone altogether. Jazakallah khair.
طيب. Bismillah. As far as the etiquette of ruqyah and some of the basic rulings, then the people of knowledge, they say, يقول أهل العلم, the people of knowledge, they say, the ruqyah should be performed by someone who's Muslim, someone who's righteous and pious, someone who is capable of reciting and learned and experienced in the art of ruqyah. Not just learning the Quran, not just being a person of the Quran, but also knowing the necessary etiquettes, do's and don'ts of the ruqyah. They also say that the ruqyah should be in the Arabic language, or that which is clearly understood. Some of them say it has to be in Arabic. Others, they say that which is to be mentioned is nothing more than the Quran and the adhkar of the Prophet ﷺ. And they also say that the raqi, the one performing it, the one who's receiving it, they are only to believe, they are there to believe that the shifa and the ta'thir is only from Allah, by Allah, and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the only one that can cure the sick and the ill. Allah is the only one that can remove the sihr, the jinn, the hasad, the ayn, or whatever reason behind the ruqyah being performed. And they say that the ruqyah is just like many other aspects of the religion, such as a man being alone with a woman for whom he isn't a mahram. That's haram any other time, and it's also haram in the time of ruqyah. Looking at someone's awrah, touching someone's awrah is haram outside of that, and it's also haram during the time of ruqyah, unless there is a what? Necessity, bare necessity, dire necessity. Now, the concept of tawheed, the concept of shirk, calling upon the shayateen, mentioning the names of the shayateen, the jinn, the awliya, quote unquote, asking the ancestors, these things are shirk akbar, kufr akbar, outside of the ruqyah, and they're also haram inside of the ruqyah. Inside of the what? Inside of the ruqyah. Everybody understand this? So that's with regards to some of the basic etiquette, some of the basic ahkam of the ruqyah, is that it should be done in the Arabic language. It should be done by mentioning from the Quran, from the hadith, from the adhkar of the Prophet ﷺ. The raqi should be pious and righteous. The one who's being recited upon and read upon should believe that this is nothing more than a sabab. This is a means, a cause of Allah's shifa, of Allah removing it. But this person is nothing more than what? A conduit. It's a wire. The electricity from one place to the next, in between that is the what? Is the wire. That's it. The wire doesn't give the electricity. The wire only what? Conducts it, transfers it, nothing more. Everybody understand this? And obviously the quality of the wire, the type of the wire, what the wire is made of is going to have an effect on the electricity. No doubt about that. Speed and strength, consistency, and the list goes on. Everybody understand this? So we're clear on that, inshallah. The second question with regards to, what was the second part of the question? The third part was, is ruqyah dangerous?
The third part of the ruqyah.
What was the second part?
The second part was the second question from I'm a person who knows how to read Quran. Walillah alhamd. A friend had asked me to read Ayatul Kursi over his friend who was possessed by a jinn. I do not have knowledge of ruqyah. Can I?
Clear. If you don't have knowledge of ruqyah, I would not advise you to read on that person. I wouldn't advise you to read upon that person, because ruqyah is much more than just reading. A staple part of ruqyah is reading, no doubt about that. As the Prophet ﷺ asked the companions, he says, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ أَنَّهَا ruqyah. He says, what made you know that the Fatiha was ruqyah? So there's no doubt about that. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. The Quran is ruqyah. However, sometimes it's much more than that, depending on the situation. That man in that hadith, the chieftain that was bit, he was stung. He was bit by what? A venomous creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it's a scorpion or snake or spider. Everybody understand this? He was afflicted by the venom and he was sick. They couldn't do anything. Nothing they could do. And they went to the Sahaba and he says, Hal fikum. He says, are there any raqi and any ruqa, any people that do ruqyah among you? And the Sahabi says, yes, I do. But you refuse to host us, so we won't do ruqyah unless you pay us. And they agreed to give them a large number of sheep and goat. He recited the Fatiha upon him. The hadith says, faqama. He says he stood up as like he was just let loose from chains. As if nothing was wrong with him. And then they got back to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Sahaba, some of them, they wouldn't take the rewards until they asked him. And the Prophet ﷺ says, how do you know? What made you know? What made you realize? Where did you get this knowledge that it is a ruqyah? And he says, idribi Oh, he says, idribu li ma'akum sahma. Okay, man qala alayhi salam. He says, save me some of the sheep and some of the goat. Meaning that it's halal. It's permissible. It's so permissible that give me some. Everybody understand this? Everybody understand this? He says, Mufti, is this plate permissible to eat? Can we eat this plate? I said, give me a piece. Give me a piece of the chicken. Everybody understand what I'm saying to you? I'm not a legislator, but if you ask me a question, can we eat this chicken from this plate? I said, give me some, Lutfi, give me a piece. In other words, by me eating it, you saying save me a piece is clearly telling you that it's what? Clearly. So the Prophet says, leave me some of the sheep and some of the goat. So the highlighting point from the hadith is that the man was stung or bit, and the Sahabi read the Fatiha to him. But this man having a scorpion bite is not like somebody who has a mutinous, evil jinn. Someone that's been there for years. Someone that's been in this person's body for 20 years, 10 years. A jinni who's in love with this man or in love with this woman, who's a kafir, who's a munafiq, who traveled from different countries, knows different languages. He speaks Spanish, then he speaks Hindi, then he speaks Arabic, then he speaks Albanian. His jinn is playing games with the qari. He's playing a joke on the reciter. And he starts talking about the reciter. Take off that hat, you look horrible. Some jinn, they say things like this. You look horrible. Shave your beard, you look disgusting. Or how's your girlfriend you with last night? Jinni may say this in front of everybody. So everybody, whoa, astaghfirullah. And the jinni starts talking. Yeah, Nafis, tell everybody about the girl you was with last night. Whether it's a lie or it may even be true. Everybody got this or not? Everybody understand this? Jinni, we've seen these things. No exaggeration. So the point is that just because you know the Quran, how are you going to now what? Deal with these types of situations. Let alone the jinni giving that person that's possessed extreme physical strength and stamina and power and all types of things. Let alone the jinn jumping out and jumping on you. The list goes on of things that are necessary requirements for the one performing the ruqyah, much more than the sheer what? Aywa. Reciting the Quran, memorizing some of the Quran, if not the whole Quran. It's much deeper than that. Taqwa, ilm. I may memorize the entire Quran, but I'm a fasiq, waliyadhu billah. I'm a sinner, a big sinner. I have problems, major problems. I have an addiction to this and that and so on and so forth. So my iman, my tawakkul, my heart, my ruh, my soul, my spirit is not that strong and formidable. And there are times that the people of knowledge, they say, things we've seen as well, in which the jinni can smell it, and sniff it out like a dog. The jinni can feel and sense. Allahu alam, the power that Allah has given these creatures. Just like gave human beings the power of intuition, firasa, having a third eye, a sixth sense, quote unquote. Everybody understand this? So Allah has given these creatures certain abilities as well. So sometimes the jinni, they can feel, they can sense those who are sinners and those who are hiding in their munafiqs. Not saying like kuffar, but like preaching what you don't practice. You're doing all types of sins and you're in front of the people. Sometimes the jinni can what? They can pick them quick. So the jinni sometime, he'll take advantage of the qari who's fake, who's not really that righteous, whether it's jumping in him or what's telling him, shut up. Last night you was all over her. You want to recite the Quran upon me? You want to kill me? Call me a kafir? You make zina. Then the qari, he's now what? Stuck. The confidence in the one who's being recited on is now what? Lost. Going, what? Astaghfirullah. You Nafis. No more power anymore. Everybody understand this? Let alone he feels embarrassed and shamed and shocked. So his spirit, his recitation, the adhkar he's saying are no longer have the same what? Same force anymore. And it's a very important part of the ruqyah is the spirit of the raqi. His connection with Allah, his tawakkul, his iman, his piety, his confidence is felt through the Quran. It's felt. The way he recites, the spitting that he does, it's felt. If he hits the guy, if he ties him up, he hits him, bang, he bangs on him. He recites the Quran, Ayatul Kursi. Allah, he recites, Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun, was-safati saffa. He talks about the وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. We've made the stars missiles against the devils. The qari, he has to have a what? He has to have what? No doubt. He has to have strength, he has to have power in his recitation, and he's using the words of Allah as a weapon to kick the jinni out or to slay the jinni or whatever is the situation. So if the jinni has exposed him, then obviously he's what? That's gone. There's no more. So it's much more than just what? Reciting the Quran and knowing the Quran. Everybody got this? Or, as we said, the jinni, he may be bluffing. He may be lying, which many of the kuffar jinn, let alone some of the Muslim jinn and jinni, he's lying. And if he wasn't making zina last night, he doesn't have a girlfriend. But he did what? He successfully bluffed them. He successfully bluffed them. And then Nafis, I'm saying this hypothetically, he say, dang, did he know about that? That wasn't last night, but it was last week. This is reality. This is, I'm talking what? It's reality. This was last month. I did have a girlfriend last month. Did the jinni know about it? So he has doubt. And the jinni successfully, he got him, he beat him. But nothing more than a what? Called his bluff. Everybody understand this? So you have to have experience with these things, with these people. The first rule is that the jinn lie. They're liars. Don't listen to the jinni. No matter what they say, don't listen to them. Ask them information, you get this and that, but you don't listen to when they start talking and telling you certain things, let alone that which is clearly based off of sarcasm, profanity, obscenities, and making things up. Everybody got this or not? Everybody understand this? So it's much more than just knowing the Quran, let alone hadith. How many hadiths do you know? How many adhkar do you know? Do you know the proper manner of committing a ruqyah? Physical strength. What if the guy gets up from the chair, chokes you by your neck, kicks you in your private part, in your groin, throws you on the floor? And we've seen this. Brothers with jinn in them have enormous strength. Enormous strength. 4, 5, 6 brothers try to hold him down. He throws them off of him like Incredible Hulk. Literally. So it's just not that simple. You have to have a plan. You have to have experience. You have to have knowledge. Sit them down, start reciting the Quran, and the Qari or the Raqi, he knows what surahs to start off with, to simmer him up. Because some jinn, they hide. They don't come out instantly. You recite the Quran to them and they'll play. They'll act idle. Just like anything else. Playing possum. The mouse behind the stove is hiding. The mouse smells the cat smells the mouse. The cat heard the mouse or saw the mouse. And he runs to behind the stove or the sofa, and the mouse is scared to death, but the mouse will do what? Stay there. And if the cat is impatient or hasty, he'll leave, and the mouse will run to safety. So some of the jinn, they play these games. You start reading the Quran, reciting the Quran, and they'll just sit there. They'll just sit there. Like, nothing. There's nothing wrong. I have no jinn. There's no jinn in me. They'll sit there. And the jinni, like we said, it could be an issue of time. Who has more sabr? The Qari, the Raqi, or the jinni? Everybody understand this? Or it can be an issue in which the jinni feels the weakness in the Raqi. So it's not burning him. I can take your punches. It's a rope-a-dope. Go ahead, swing. I'll sit there and I'll be patient. You didn't hit me now. You didn't hurt me yet. Or it could be an issue in which the Raqi doesn't have the necessary knowledge and the necessary experience to recite the proper parts of the Quran. He may just recite the Fatiha, which is a ruqyah, but it's not the same as reciting Safat. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun, and other ayat that literally burn them up and destroy them and really mess them up. And they can't take the pain anymore. And they have to leave the body or be killed, be slain. And if you don't have the necessary knowledge of that, then the Qari is going to act dormant. Or the jinni is going to be what? Dormant. And in experience, Ruqi, the Qari says, he doesn't have a jinn in him. But the jinn is what? Still there. So the experienced Raqi, he's going to know how to start off the recitation. And the experienced Raqi, he may also know how to play around with the jinni. I'm going to play around. I'm going to act like I'm weak in the beginning. I'm going to just start him off in the beginning. And then I'm going to let the jinni make a mistake. And the moment he talks or twitches or this and that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to recite this, and we want to hit him and do this and tie him up. And now I got him. Strangle him. Everybody understand this? You have to have knowledge. You have to have experience, let alone the jinni leaving this person and what? Going into you. That's dangerous as well. And that answers the third part of the question as well. This is in brief. We go on and on. Okay, the paranormal is reality in Islam and outside of Islam as well. It is real. Okay, I don't know how old some of you brothers are or sisters. Maybe some of the older brothers. Back in the day, you remember the movie, The Exorcist. Or even before the movie, it was actually a novel. Everybody understand this? Which was much better than the movie. And it talks about Christians and Jesuits and Catholics and people that aren't Muslims that rejected and accepted the concept of jinn possession, demon possession. And the weird, or not weird, but the interesting fact is if you read the book or if you saw the movie, okay, the brother's talking about movies, he's telling us to watch a movie. I'm not telling nobody to watch a movie. I'm not telling anybody to what? Watch a movie. We're talking about a historical fact. The movie was one of the most popular movies in America of the time. And it's one of the most popular movies to this day. Critically acclaimed, let alone the actual novel, the actual book. The book starts off not in Rome, not in Europe, not in America. The book starts off in Iraq. They're in Iraq, a land dominated by Muslims. And that's where the original ancient demon, Jinni, Pazuzu, what's his name, came from Iraq. Then it went to another country, then it went to America. So these are the Christians now. And the people, they said there is no such thing as demon possession. There's no such thing. There's a schizophrenia. It's a mental disorder, psychological disorders, this and this, that. And the one Jesuit, he believed in it and he knew that it was totally supernatural. It was not scientifically explained. It's a demon in this young girl. Everybody understand this? And the list goes on. So this is a reality in Islam. And just as if you read the book, the knowledge that he had and he didn't have until he brought in an older and experienced higher Jesuit, a priest that knew about demons and this demon specifically. And that was the successful extraction of the demon from that lady's body. So it's much more than just knowing the Quran. It's much more than just knowing Arabic. It's much more than just having knowledge. You have to have experience. You have to have courage. You have to have strength. You have to have cunning. You have to be sly and slick. You have to know how to play around with this thing because he's going to try to what? Play around with you. That's the nature of fire. Fire does what? It jumps. It flickers. It flares. And this is the asl of the creation of these people. Not like the human being. The human being is made from what? Clay. Soft, easy, simple. You can manage clay. Fire is flares. It can flare, fall down. You think that the coals are no longer hot. You grab them, you burn your hand. Everybody understand this? You ever gone camping? A campfire takes hours for the wood to totally cool off. Fire is not that easy to play around with. Wallahu alam.
I don't know.
You tell me. You didn't say anything. Well done.
That was 3 questions. Sheikh Idris from Toronto, Canada. May Allah bless you. The hadith, whoever treads the path to knowledge, is it limited to actual traveling outside, or is it any path towards knowledge?
Yes and no. Yes and no. It is limited. Those who leave their homes, who actually literally tread with the feet. You get up on your horse, you actually take a step, no doubt about that. It's not the same as me. I'm sitting at home watching Hadith Disciple on my sofa, on my couch, eating popcorn. It's not the same. Not saying that Idris is doing that, but many people, alhamdulillah, they are. Oh, that was decent. You heard that? Cool, nice. It's not the same as a brother who's, I want to leave. I live in Brooklyn. I'm going to go to another borough. I'm going to another train, go home night, and actually sit in public. I'm going to go to Egypt. I'm going to go to Yemen. I'm going to go and travel. It's not the what? It's not the same. So from that aspect, the hadith is restricted to what? Actual what? No doubt about that. And from another aspect, we say no. What's meant by that hadith is he who seeks knowledge. He who what? Seeks knowledge. On a computer, on a phone, on a book, he who seeks knowledge. But a staple part of seeking knowledge is to travel. And there are countless benefits in traveling. And we've explained before with regards to the fawaid of traveling, especially to seek hadith. And our explanation of, or not our explanation, our presentation on the compilation of the sunnah. Traveling is much more than information. You get to meet different people. You get to network with different people. You get to see different parts of Allah's spacious earth. You learn how to humble yourself. Because you see somebody that's better than you, somebody that has more talent than you, someone who's been doing it longer than you. You learn certain things, you get certain things just by traveling. So from one aspect, yes, it's restricted. And from another aspect, it's those who what? Seek knowledge. And seeking knowledge is a path that leads to Jannah. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
No. Initials GM from Ottawa, Canada. What is the ruling on credit cards if you avoid paying riba by paying back the money on time?
Question says the ruling on having a credit card, if you pay back the money on time, you don't pay the fee, etc. The concept of riba is old and it's ancient. And in most of the traditional Orthodox religions, riba, interest and usury, especially usury, was considered a major sin. Major sin. Whether it's the Muslims, the Jews, the Christians, and those besides them as well. But specifically Judaism and Christianity. It was a capital sin for a person to be involved in usury. taxing people, getting the squeezing someone in debt. So the general ruling of riba is that it's not a new concept. It's well known for many, many, many years among Muslims and non-Muslims. Everybody understand this? So when you understand this, it helps everything out and it makes everything easier in Islam, that it isn't new. It's been around for a while. The traditional scholarship in Islam, those who, other than the Muslims, and then this goes on, the concept of interest. But the banking system, there were people that were bankers, quote unquote, people who lent money, who gave notes. But the modern banking system is relatively new. It's relatively new. And it's not as old as what? Iowa. And some of the people of history, the historians, they say that the modern banking system the foundations were laid by the Crusaders, okay? The Templar Knights, those who had different stopping points from France, from Germany, from England to the Promised Land, to Jerusalem, and which travelers, Christians on their way to the pilgrimage to the birthplace of Jesus Christ, they could give in notes to get money, to stay, to travel, provisions. And they started the concept of foreign currency and money exchange and banking system, and the list goes on. That's a very, very long discussion. What's important is you have to understand the concept of a credit card, and the concept of a bank. A bank is not a means of charity. They're not giving you charity. They only give you a service, make things easy for you because of what? Because they benefit one way or another. So if you give a debit card, if you have a credit card, a checking card, a Macy's card, you pay back the money on time, one way or another, you are helping them and you are assisting them in what? In riba. They're not doing you a favor just because of the grace of God. Let's give you an account. Let's help you. Let's make your life easier. No. It comes with a price. So once we have this concept understood, and then what I said about the history of interest, once everybody gets this, then it becomes easier to understand the Islamic rulings. Is that the sheer involvement of you with any type of bank is you're part of the what? System. A little bit, a lot, up top, small, big, one way or another, you're feeding the beast of riba. One way or another. If you have a debit card, you pay back on time, the moment your name, your social security, the money that you pay, you're feeding the what? The system. Everybody understand this? So those who say that credit cards are haram, from the reasons why they say, or from the reason why it's haram, why they say it's haram, they say is because you're doing what? وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Don't help each other upon sin and transgression. Everybody clear on this? So some people, they'll say a debit card is permissible, but a credit card is haram. The debit card, my name is in the system. I pay a monthly fee, a yearly fee, or I don't pay any fee. You have to keep a certain amount in your bank, in your account. The bank is doing you a favor by giving you the debit card, Lutfi. They're doing you a favor. They're helping you out just for the sheer beauty and love of God, or what? There's
Even that certain amount of it for a reason.
one way or another. So if you say that a credit card is haram, then a debit card is also haram. A brother will say, well, no, it's a hardship, it's a difficulty. Then what's the difference with the credit card? There's some things, some services that you cannot do with debit. Certain places that you go, it has to be a what? Credit card. And if you don't have that piece of plastic, then it's going to become a hardship and a difficulty. So this goes to show some of the contradiction in that. The system is haram, period. Or some things are permissible because of need, necessity, hardship. And when you do involve yourself in credit or the modern banking system, you do it what? Limit. Only necessity, only need. Don't eat. Everybody got this? Others, they say that, or from these ulama, they say that the credit card, you're paying a yearly fee. And that fee is interest. Okay, tayyib. That also applies to the debit card, no doubt. Or even deeper than that, somebody may say it's not a riba, but you're paying a fee for the service. You're a member, your membership. And to enjoy certain benefits, certain advantages, you have to, because it's a business. It's a what? It's a business. So the convenience, the ease, the simplicity, the discounts, the Amazon Prime, you're getting your stuff in 2 days, 1 day. They say, want it tomorrow? This is what they say. You say, what? Want it tomorrow? Order within what? 3 hours and you get it. Want it tomorrow? They ask you, you want it? Prime. Everybody know it comes. Maybe they don't send yours on time. Everybody understand this? You getting the advantage of the Prime, of the things getting shipped without an extra fee, that's a what? It's a benefit. and that benefit does not come to you from free. You pay for that, your yearly fee, or whatever the case may be. So one could say having Amazon Prime is also haram because you're paying riba. They say, no, it's not riba, it's a fee, brother, it's different. Okay, so what's the difference in the bank now? Right or wrong? You need something, it's very important. You have the ability, you have a good credit score to buy that thing before you have the money. Paying interest, different story. Them taking it, them giving it to you, that's what? Everybody understand this, the concept? So some of the ulama, they say that you putting money in a riba bank is totally haram unless it's a need or necessity. You fear that the money will be stolen, or you live in a place in which it's very hard to live without a piece of plastic. Someone could say, no, put your trust in Allah. Put the money in your house. Protect yourself. Hide it somewhere. Put your trust in Allah. And so it can go both ways now. It can go what? Both ways. So if you do have a credit card or a debit card, and a person says, I do not allow the riba to stack up, to pile up. I do not allow the charges and the fees to come. That's much better than someone who's actually, you see what I'm saying? Which could be pure, absolute riba, interest on it, the debt, how much you owe, and they stack it on. So I think, and I feel, and Allah knows best, the concept of credit, of mortgage, of these things, they have to be dealt with reality and transparency. You have to lay everything on the table. First and foremost, we as Muslims, we have to understand these things socially. Many of us, we talk about riba, but what is riba in English? And what's the difference between usury and interest in English, in our English culture, our English language, English history? Everybody understand this? Then we move on to the Islamic conceptualization of it. Then we get into the madhabs, the dalil, understand hardship and difficulty. It has to be a process and a step. It has to be what? A process and a step. The bottom line is if you're going to do it, if you get this fatwa, it's not haram, it's okay, then do it based off of need and necessity. Do it with a limit. Do it and you're realizing the seriousness and the danger of it. Do it with the balance. Everybody understand this? That's not the same as you buying something that you don't need, going somewhere that you don't need to go. As someone, these are basic necessities. Basic necessities, taking care of basic bills. I gotta do it. The card, so on and so forth. Basic things. Everybody understand this? So therefore, if you don't pay the fees, or if you don't allow the fees to come, if you in other words, it's like what they call it, a charge card. You charged it, right? You have $5,000. You don't go over that, so on and so forth. It's one thing. To me, it doesn't seem too much different than a what? Debit card, because you're paying based off what's in your account. Some banks, they even offer the services of overdrawn. We'll give you $50, $500, whatever you sign up for. You can spend it if you run out of money, and it goes into the negative. Everybody understand? At the end of the day, one way or another, you're dealing with the bank. And the Prophet ﷺ cursed those who eat riba, those who give it as food, those who write it down, those who witness, everyone. وَقَالَهُمْ سَوَاء. He said that they're what? All equal. They're all equal in the curse. So this is something that I feel it just has to be understood when we start talking about riba banks, riba cards. Credit cards haram, debit cards not. A debit card's haram, but Western Union is permissible. Brother, he said this in Yemen. He says you can't use a bank at all, but you can use Western Union. What is Western Union based off of?
Bank.
It goes to a what?
Bank.
In Yemen, when we were there, you had to go to a Western Union that was located in a
Bank.
So that obviously doesn't add up at the end of the day. It doesn't what? Add up. So either you're going to say it's absolutely haram, number one. That's no problem in that. Or you're going to say that there are details. How much? What service you're getting? What's a need? What's a want? The money that you already have, but you use the card for the convenience or the discount. The express shipping. The prime. Huh? Everybody understand this? Or you're going to give details in it. If you say that it's haram, but in certain cases, certain instances, what? Wallahu alam. And obviously, you in the United States of America, and anywhere you go in the world, pretty much, Allah knows best, the modern banking system has a very, very, very long discussion that many of us are not ready to discuss and talk about. And that's why I mentioned the thing about the history of usury and the Templar Knights, how the modern banking system came to how it is today. Wallahu alam.
Sheikh Idris from Toronto. Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh, and those who keep this channel running. I know I can speak on behalf of everyone that we do appreciate all the hard work and efforts that is put in daily. Jazakumullah khair. Sheikh, can you lend us some guidance on proper etiquette of asking a question and how to deal with our shuyukh. May Allah bless you. Amen.
May Allah bless you as well. Thank you for the kind words. May Allah accept your studies from you and allow you to be successful in your studies. Ameen. Jazakallah khairan for the feedback. We appreciate it and we benefit from the feedback, whether it's criticism, compliment, whatever the case may be, encouragement, support, and the list goes on. May Allah bless you. Ameen. I would say that we've done talks on this before. We spoke on this, some basic etiquettes of asking a question. To keep things general or keep things brief, the first etiquette of asking a question is to ask someone who's qualified. And don't ask someone that you feel doesn't know the answer or possibly doesn't know the answer. Okay? Very important concept. And that's going to have an effect upon your intention and how you actually ask the question. I'm asking for money because I actually believe that you can help me out. Sure, I need to borrow $100. I really do. Right now. But you look like you got money. And I'm not going to ask Sean, and I clearly don't believe what? That he doesn't have money. In other words, now he says he doesn't have the money, or I can't. I have it, but it's outside of my budget. That puts him in a what now? Ah, dang, well, I can't even give money to Mufti, subhanAllah. He's not going to look at me the same. All his classes, I taught him, give him all of these benefits. He can't even lend me a measly $100. This is the reality. So if I'm asking him and I really don't think that he has the money or he can't afford it, I'm putting him in a what? A bad situation. And the same applies to knowledge. You may ask someone something that you think they don't know, and now they're too shy to say, I don't know. They may try. So ask someone that you truly believe actually has the knowledge and the ability to answer your question efficiently. Everybody got this? Everybody understand this or not? Let alone the fact that the concept of something that's become very lost in these days of just taking ignorant people as people to answer questions and teach classes, and the muftis, ignorant people that don't know anything. It's disrespect. And many people, they have done this. Many people. It's disrespect to all of the hard work of Brother Salih. He studied for all of these years. And then I go to Talib who didn't study anywhere. I ask him a question. I sit in his class. That's a smack in the face to Salih. Let alone to the art. The art of seeking ilm. It's not right to him. And many brothers, they do this. Everybody understand this? So the first point, you should only ask those who have it. Ask somebody for money who's what? You feel is what? Has the money. Everybody understand this? Everybody got this? Secondly is that you should have the proper intentions with regards to yourself, your heart. Don't ask someone to break their neck or to break their back. Don't ask a person a question for fitna. What do you think about Sheikh Fulan? Oh, what is the advice can you give us on Sheikh Alan? Knowing that it's controversial, it's hot, it's scratchy topic, other people are listening. I really don't want to know what you feel, but I just want to hear to pass it on to somebody else. And many people, they do this all the time. And it's a shame, and I'll say this openly, it's a shame that there are scholars, mashaykh, who allow it. Only Allah knows what's in their hearts. We don't know what's in people's hearts, but they just allow it. They know these people are people of fitna, troublemakers, fitna mongers, and they bring them closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And out of the last 15, 20 years, they have done nothing but made fitna, destroyed and wrecked and ruined. But yet and still, these are the people to take from in the West. Return your fears back to these people in the West. Return your fears back to this one guy who didn't study, who can't speak Arabic, who can't recite the Quran properly, who's a total fool and an idiot when he talks, everything he says, but go take your fears back to him. That doesn't make any sense. How can you allow this person to be your deputy in America or the UK? And he's a jahil. Oh, how can you say he's a jahil? You can't say that. Listen to how he talks. Listen to the fawaid that he has. Okay, tayyib. But then you say Jama'at Tabligh. You review Jama'at Tabligh. And Jama'at Tabligh, they say, why do I got to study for 20 years if I can sound good? I give the talim or the bayan. It sounds good. Listen to him speak. So this is a bit of reality. Have you studied, Ya Akhil Kareem? Where have you studied? Faddal. Where you studied at? Tell me your credentials. Faddal. You don't have to be a Jami Islami. You don't have to be a degree. Tell me what scholar you sat under and finished books year after year after year after year. He's taught you systematic science. Faddal. If I went to the library in this city that you're supposed to have studied in and lived in, if I go to the librarian, I say, have you ever seen this guy before? He says, no, I never saw him a day in my life. And this is the main library in Medina or Yemen or Kuwait. Something is obviously what? Seriously wrong. Because studies is much more than just sitting with a scholar, going to the library too. You're supposed to be able to say, yeah, I remember him. He used to come every day. I had to kick him out. I gave him a key. He would fall asleep. He would be slobbering the books. Yeah, I remember him. He rented a table. In Saudi Arabia, they have tables that you rent. You pay a certain amount of money for a month, and the librarian doesn't touch your books at that table. He doesn't put them back. This is your table that you rented. Wallahi. You rent your own table. So every time you come in, the book that you had last time is what? Right there. So there's some of us, and I'm saying this openly, let's make a challenge. Fulan's a deviant, Fulan's a slave. No problem, cool. But let's make a challenge. Let's go to the country that you said you studied in, and let's go and talk to the librarian. And let's see who knows who. You know this guy? I never saw him a day in my life. And Fulan, he's this and he's that. Don't take anything from him. The librarian, how you doing, Sheikh? How's America? It's been a long time since I've seen you. 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But he does what? Remembers him because he was always what?
He was always checking you out.
So if we asked you that, where you study, what you learn, what books, what do you have? You'll be naked. You have no knowledge. So how can a scholar say, return your affairs back to this brother? That's shameful for the scholar. And this guy doesn't represent anything that scholar represents of academia and scholastics, regardless of opinions, minhaj, this and that, fulan's a mubtadi'. But this guy, this doctor is a PhD. He has a doctor's degree. He wrote thesis. He wrote big, thick books for years. This guy didn't study anywhere. And this is the one that you want to represent you and your legacy in America or in the UK? Shameful. For you to call yourself a doctor and this jahil guy that can't even recite Fatiha, he's the one that represents your legacy. That's horrible. May Allah help us all. So this is very important for us to understand. The person that you ask the question should be a person of ilm. Someone who has solid, concrete knowledge. Not some, flim-flam, fishy, wishy-washy type of guy. The third etiquette is that you should know that asking someone a question, you have to humble yourself. You have to lower yourself. The person does not have to answer the question. He's doing you a favor. He's helping you out. So there has to be a type of what? Humility and humbleness to this person. You don't have to get on your knees, beg and kiss him. You don't have to kiss his feet. No. But just a general amount of what? Respect. And this respect is manifested in the following things. Number one, a very common mistake many brothers do, never call the person that you're asking the question or your teacher by his first name. It's considered rude and disrespectful. You don't say that. It doesn't have to be Sheikh, Ustad, call him by his kunya, this and that, but it calls somebody by their first name. Nafis, I got a question. Nafis, I got a question. Nafis, I got a question. Nafis. Many brothers do this. And the brothers, they just don't know. They don't necessarily have evil intentions, but they just don't know. That's a poor etiquette. You never call your teacher by his what? By his first name. You don't do that. Also is how you speak to them, how you address them. Please answer this question if you know the answer. That's considered disrespectful. If you know. In other words, you're going to speak without knowledge. In other words, if you know the answer, I have the proper etiquette, you're going to be stingy. It's a slap in the face. Yeah, Sheikh, could you please tell me where to find this hadith? And if you don't know, the Sheikh is going to say, La adri, I don't know. Or if he does know, he says, find it here. Or he says, you go research it. I won't tell you because I want you to develop yourself. But people that say, please tell me if you know the answer. This is disrespectful, and it's also a means of lack of confidence and certainty. Sean, could you lend me $100? Or just like that, if you got it. Or if you want to. If it's not a problem, huh? If it's what? If it's not a problem. La. Somebody that you really honestly feel is generous and has the money, Lutfi, I need to borrow $100. Fadl Mufti, here you go. Or he says what? I don't have it. I can get it for you. But I'm saying to you, it's not a problem if you don't give it to me. In other words, I really don't need it. I really don't, you have the option of giving me the money even though I'm in need of it. And many brothers, they do this and they just don't know. That's a poor what? That's a poor etiquette. That's a poor what? That's a poor etiquette. Everybody got this? Another very important etiquette is not to mention people's names in the question. And we've talked about this. Answer questions. We gave 5 minutes about this. Don't mention someone else's name in the question unless it's a necessity. Ya Sheikh, qara'tu, I heard, I read, I studied, I heard. In qila, it is said. ما قولك في من يقول كذا. This is that. Sheikh Lutfi, he said this and he said that. I don't like Sheikh Lutfi in my heart. So that automatically has an effect on my what? My answer. Or I love him so much and I have so much respect for him and he says something that's wrong. Something that's scientifically inaccurate, but because I love him so much, I'm going to Take it a little easy on it. Even though what he said is totally erroneous. It has an effect. Everybody understand this? Another very important etiquette of the question is not to have a full cup, as so many people do. And they think we just say this just to sound funny or kung fu-y, mystical. Oh, full cup, oh, sounds so decent. No, it's a reality. Don't bring information and facts and things to the table. Please tell me the ruling on this. I read 10 books on it, but I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah, Sheikh, I know it's haram to do this, and I know that, and we know this in Islam, Sheikh, but in other words, some brothers, they give so much information. What are you asking me for?
They answered it already.
Wallahi. And it's improper. It goes against humility, and Allah knows best. We don't know, but it shows a certain type of conceit and pride, because I'm gonna have to show you that I do know something. I'm not a total fool. See, hear this and hear that and so on and so forth. Wallahi, it's a reality. I've experienced this. Brothers, they're going for 5 minutes. Yeah, Sheikh, we know in the Quran, and we know this, and we know this, and we know that. It's a problem. What are you asking me for? Somebody could say, I was taught this. I read this. Is this correct? That's a different story. Or an actual talib al-ilm that has read the Sharh al-Nawawi, and he says, yes, Sheikh, it's something I want to read to you. It's something I didn't understand. It's something that I found problematic. It's something كذا. قال الإمام النووي رحمه الله وأكثرهم يقولون زينب بنت جحش وكثير, and he gives you faida. Yes, Sheikh, what do you have to say about this? What is your ta'liq on this? Can you explain this? Did I understand it properly? That's different, because you're contributing to it now. You're bringing a faida, something that I read before, I've studied, you're refreshing me. Or something that I don't know. A beautiful student, someone who brings the teacher what? A gift. Just like the teacher gives you a gift, you do what? Give the teacher a gift. You don't say that to the teacher. You see what I'm saying to you? So the concept of having a full cup could be a means of disrespect, it could be a means of pride, it could be a means of showing off, and it's also a means of wasting time. Why ask me if you already know? If you have all this information, what are you coming to me for? Don't bother me. Or the general concept is that if you come to me as if you know nothing, I may give you what? More than what you asked for. But if you say, I know this, I know that, I only give you just a little bit, so you may lose out. Everybody got this? The man came to the Prophet ﷺ, he says, we travel by sea. We have a little bit of fresh water. If we make wudu with the fresh water, we'll go thirsty. Can we make wudu with the sea water? The man was total ignorant. He didn't know this and that and so on, certain things, certain principles that he was taught from the Quran, from the Sahaba, from what he heard from the Prophet. He says, this is the situation. O Messenger of Allah, tell us what to do. Period. So it's very important to empty your cup. Do not come to the table with pre-assumptions. And many brothers and sisters, when they do ask questions, they think they know something, but it was wrong. We say, you were taught wrong. Your teacher lied. Intentionally or what? Unintentionally. Well, who taught you that? Who taught you to say that? Who said that is true? Who even said that that's sahih? So it's very harmful, and it's also a means of losing out when you bring a what? When you bring a full cup. So always empty your cup. Everybody understand this? Also, from the etiquettes of asking a question is that you're honest and you're willing to implement it, and you're willing to listen, and you're willing to accept it. Don't ask somebody something and you yourself know, I'm not willing to listen to it. Once a brother, he asked me a question about biology. He had a biology degree, okay? And is it permissible to dissect a living animal and this and that, and to do this type of surgery and to touch this part of a woman and so on, etc. I asked him before I answered the question, I says, if I say it's haram, are you going to throw away the scholarship? Are you willing to walk away from the scholarship if I say it's haram? He's like, I don't know, Mufti, I don't think so. I said, khalas, let me treat you to a cup of coffee in a hotel. Let me treat you to what? Cup of coffee. You don't have to talk about, you're my brother, I'll buy you some coffee. Don't ask me about biology or medicine because you're not willing to what? Everybody understand this? Or another brother, he said once in Philadelphia, he said, Mufti, I got a job working for SEPTA. I'm a bus driver, and they got me on a 40-day probation. 40 days, I can't miss work. No, I can't miss a Friday. Is it permissible for me to have this? You already took the job. You already agreed. If I say it's haram, you have to go to Jummah. Are you going to stop? So we have to be willing to be able to what? Don't ask certain questions unless you're what? Willing to accept. All right, I got this. Another very important part is not to ask a question with the intention of making fitna. Taking what one person said and going to another person. Taking what one mufti said, one qari, one imam, one da'iyah, and take it to another. Well, mufti said this. And mufti said it's haram. What do you say? It's fitna. It makes corruption. Everybody understand this? This is evil. So these are some of the basic etiquettes of asking a question. Also, from the adab of the talib al-ilm is to put the question together correctly, to form your words, to make the question concise and clear and crisp, sharp. The clarity of the question has an effect upon the clarity of the answer. And the mufti will have a better understanding of exactly what's going on. The Prophet, he asked the man. The man says, Inni nadartu. He says, I made a vow, an anhara iblan bi bawana, to slaughter a camel at this place. Everybody understand this? He says, Hal fiha wathunun min awthan al-jahiliyyati yu'bad. Are there any idols from Jahiliyyah in this place? قال لا. قال فيها عيد من أعيادهم؟ قال لا. قال فأوفي بنذرك. Is there any holidays, festivities in this place? He said, no. He said, do what? Fulfill your vow. So this hadith teaches us the Prophet, he asked the necessary what? Details. And the clarity of the answer of the question allowed the Prophet to what? Clear, base answer. Slaughter the cow, slaughter the camel. So how you word your question, what you say, articulating yourself, expressing yourself is a skill in itself. And it's something that a student of knowledge is to try his or her best in developing early on. Learning how to do what? Ask questions. Another very important part or etiquette, perhaps we'll stop with this, is not to ask questions in an inappropriate time or place. An inappropriate time or inappropriate place. Sometimes it's best just to listen, watch, observe, be patient, and allow the situation to present itself. Another student will come and he'll ask an embarrassing question. You don't have to embarrass yourself. He asked it. He made him fool of himself in front of everybody. Everybody understand this? And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you have to ask an embarrassing question. But other times you get a benefit from somebody else. So just be patient sometimes. And that's something that's an emergency, something that you're doing on a daily basis, you're doing something wrong. But if it's just a hypothetical, theoretical question, sometimes just be patient. Just wait. And allow other people to do what? To ask it for you. Or allow the teacher to present it to you. And sometimes a teacher, especially if he's a good teacher, he'll sense that you're having trouble with something. He'll sense that something's bothering you. I got into a car, we drove off, and I saw the brother, he tucked something under the seat. Or he took something down from his mirror. Instead of him asking, I says, yeah, akhi, what's the rule on having a Valentine's Day air freshener in your car? Do you know? A heart, Cupid sign. Everybody got this or not? So this is very important skill, is to know when and when not to what? Ask a question. Now, depending on who your teacher is, who's your sensei, will determine what or when is an inappropriate or appropriate time. As far as me, we can go to the marketplace. I'm picking out fruit and vegetables. Fadl. Ask what you like. Ask a question. In Walmart, I have a question, Mufti. Go ahead. Socks are too short. I have a question too. It's not a problem. There's some brothers who do what? They don't like that. For one reason or another. No, don't ask me a question in this supermarket. Don't ask me a question in Super Fresh. It's inappropriate. Or it may be a thing which a person may not mind being asked in the supermarket, or when it's late at night, or when they're tired, but you may ask an inappropriate question. He asked me a question about jihad and apostasy and how the rulers are kuffar in the middle of the marketplace with a loud voice. Everybody got that? That's a bit different. We're in the airport. You start, Nafis will start talking about politics in the countries in the Middle East. This ruler, stuck for the law. He can't get a visa to go there. That's not the time, not the place for that. Everybody understand this? Or anything that's strange or out of the ordinary, or just going to bring unnecessary and unwarranted attention. And you can talk about it another time. Mas'al al-Khufayn, Tayyib, Adi. Tahara, this and that, no problem. You're talking about jihad, kuffar, this, that, America, the president. It's a time and it's a what? Time and a place. Everybody understand this? It's a time and it's a place. Or it may be an issue in which it may be late at night. And I don't mind answering your question, but not a long, detailed thing. You see what I'm saying to you? If it's a simple, so it's a skill. And you can only get the skill by sticking to your teacher. Sticking with your sensei. Being a student of the dojo. For time, for years. Going in, devoting yourself to his teachings. Being loyal, being obedient, listening, paying attention. Along with the tawfiq that Allah gives you. Along with the natural intelligence Allah has given you. And along with your hard work. Your application. And all I do is just pour a little bit in the cup. The rest of it is what? You have to research and discover and fill the rest of the drink. Wallahu alam.
Initials SS from initials UI. I can't pronounce it. Etobicoke, Canada. Allah bless you, Sheikh. Why was the man without a nose allowed to wear a nose of gold if no man can wear gold? Is this a new ruling? Was the gold abrogated? or is it specific to him?
We say that companion, Arfajah radiallahu anhu, the scholars, they say about this companion is that him having his nose removed in jihad was something that was extremely unsightly, something that was extremely quote unquote ugly, something that was a major blemish and defect. Not a scar on the face, not a piece of his ear being missing, but his nose being removed, cut off. And just stop and think about this, brothers and sisters. The reality of jihad, fi sabilillah. Huh? Somebody swings a sword or a spear or an arrow, and it takes off your nose. It's deep. The Sahaba did. And those Muslims who came after them for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just imagine how close that blade is what? To your face. Everybody understand this? Or in modern times, your uncle who was in the Vietnam War, or your grandfather in World War II, or Korean War, or whatever, the Desert Storm. The explosion went off, a foot next to him, shrapnel, all types of metal, lead, things on his face, his eyes. The bullet just missed his head, scratched his head. It's reality. And this is the hadith that says that the martyr, when he's a martyr, he'll be protected from the fitna of the grave. And the hadith, it says, the narration says, كَفَى بِبَقَارَةِ السُّيُوفِ إِنَّ رَأْسِهِ فِتْنَةً أَوْ كَمَا جَاءَ. Hadith says, swords swinging by his head is enough fitna for him. The sword being wielded around his head is what? It's enough fitna. Everybody understand this? So his nose was cut off. Just imagine that. The pain, the blood. It's a reality. And the Prophet ﷺ, he allowed him, the narration says, to put on a nose that was made, it was artificial from gold. Not because gold was permissible, but in times of necessity or need, silk, solid gold are lawful for men. Everybody understand this? Silk and solid gold are permissible for what? Men. For men. We know the other hadith, the Prophet allowed certain Sahaba to wear silk because they had what? Shaved skin. They had skin conditions. Things were very difficult. Everybody understand this? Or as silk, type. What's important is that it's not necessarily abrogated. Gold is haram for men. Everybody understand this? As mentioned in the authentic sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But if it's a necessity, if it's a means of something that's unsightly, then it's permissible, such as teeth. Not all teeth, because you don't always have to get a tooth replaced, but certain types of teeth that may be a very, very bad blemish. And gold has certain qualities that other metals don't have. It's light, it's solid, it doesn't rust. And the list goes on. And what? And the list goes on. The same with regards to silk. So it's not necessarily abrogated. And some of the people of knowledge, they say these hadiths, they prove the permissibility. This is a side fa'idah. Some of the ulama, they say these hadiths prove the permissibility of taking alcohol and certain intoxicants for medicinal purposes. The alcohol is haram, but in a time of need and necessity, this is the best medicine, so on and so forth. And then this goes, that's a long issue in itself. That's just a side fa'idah. People ask about NyQuil, DayQuil. Not advising you to take that. Saleh, man. This will put you to sleep, then take something else to keep you up, and something else to put you to sleep. Not necessarily saying that, but just the concept of certain things that have khamr in them, or intoxication. Wallahu alam. Oh, last but not least, we forgot to mention the concept of when you ask a question, is you always raise your right hand. Alhamdulillah, I'm not saying this bragging, but when I came to New York City or Canada or other parts, I didn't see anyone that was implementing the etiquette of getting people to raise their right hands. Wala fakhr. I'm not saying that boasting. I didn't see it. I learned about it when I was in Yemen. One of my classmates, he told me about it and the other brothers about it, and he was acknowledged by the sheikh. Okay, I haven't seen anybody talk about it before. And that's why you go to many masjids, brothers on the sunnah, they learn certain things, but they do what? They raise their left hands. We're not saying this is a rule, it's haram, but we're talking about the adab, a refined system of talab al-ilm. So that's another very important etiquette, is always raise your what? Your right hand. Wallahu alam. And there are many other etiquettes as well, such as not overburdening the teacher. But often, or sometimes, you have to have the necessary aggressiveness. Hirs. You have to have necessary hirs. You have to be diligent. You have to be what? Diligent. Sometimes you have to be diligent. Sometimes you have to stalk your teacher. Sometimes. Some brothers, they get frustrated. Sisters get frustrated. I text you, I called you, you didn't answer. It's frustrating. This is a reality. Many brothers are like this, and sisters are like this.
The name, title for the khutbah.
Right now, sometimes you have to understand is that you have to exert yourself a bit more. Everybody understand this? What? A bit more. And that's a good student, a true student. You don't say, I don't mean to bug you. No, I do want to bug you. You're my teacher. I'm supposed to bug you. And it's your job to do what? No, I can kick you away. Go away. The dojo's closed today. No, I'm not teaching you anything. No kung fu today. Go cook rice. Everybody, this is a reality. Because it's an advantage for me to do what? Or it's a privilege for me to do what, Saleh? Take you as my student. As a great grandmaster once said, he said, I don't need any more students. What can you do for me? I'm helping you out. I'm changing your life. Everybody understand this? But the student, he says, go away. He has to do what now? Come back. No doubt, 3 or 4 days to show the reality of it, that I'm willing to learn. I want to learn. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit. Because I'm giving you gold. You think I'm just going to give gold to somebody that doesn't value it? They say a fool in his wealth is soon what? Quickly. Fool doesn't know how to keep money. So I'm not going to give you money, solid gold, unless you're what? Wise. Value it. Business savvy. And the same applies to ilm. And from the things, I don't know what's in your heart, but from the signs that you are serious, that you are dedicated, that you are going to be humble, that you aren't going to quit and drop out the class is what, Saleh? Is he does what? No doubt about that. And this is a skill to the teacher. Sometimes I may not reply to an email intentionally. I may not answer your question intentionally. I may not respond to you intentionally because you have to earn it. And there lies no doubt. We in America are extremely spoiled. Extremely spoiled. As I said, brothers, they call the teacher by his first name. Yeah, oh, Akhi. Question, Akhi. It's like this. Wallahi. Muhammad. Brothers, Muhammad. Just like that. This is reality. And he's expecting me to have to automatically what? And give him this and this and that. What did Ibn Taymiyyah say about it? What did Ibn Baz say about it? Become spoiled. Become spoiled. I can just call him and reach him any time of the day, any time of night, and he don't answer my phone. You did this, you didn't. No. So sometimes you have to understand that it's a privilege. I don't have to call you back, Lutfi. I'm done. I work at the masjid. I finished my classes. Why are you calling my phone? It's a privilege. It's a what? It's a privilege. So sometimes the teachers, they have to do what? It's remind the students of these etiquettes. They forget. Everybody got this or not? Wallahu a'lam. It's not about it being egotistic. It's not about that. It's about respect for what? Solid gold. Solid gold that you're getting for free. Everybody understand this? Wallahu a'lam. No, Adam, I'm not answering your question. You're not just here?
Initials
I sent.
Initials FS from Toronto, Ontario. Can you give an example of when a ruling can change because of the condition of the people?
We say, first and foremost, a ruling doesn't always necessarily change. Sometimes the application of the ruling changes. The application of it. Does it apply to you? Or do we apply it to you? We have two things. We have tatbiq, and then we have al-intibaq. خذ الفائدة. هناك تطبيق، هناك انطباق. هل ينطبق عليه؟ هل نطبقه عليه؟ طلاب العلم, understand this? Take this golden فائدة. You may not necessarily find in one book. There's تطبيق وهناك انطباق. التطبيق, obviously, the وزن تفعيل. طبق يطبق تطبيقا. I'm applying it to you. As a mufti in Australia, this ruling applies to you based off of the necessary details and information you gave me. And then we have intabaqa, which is on a different wazn and has a different meaning in Arabic. Does the ruling apply to me? Everybody understand this? Let's make a simple example of this. Picture making, tasweer. Tasweer. Does tasweer apply to a video? Or you ask me a question, is it haram to use a video camera? I say yes. I have done what? Tatbiq. I have applied it to you. Everybody understand this? And a student of knowledge says, I'm going to use the video camera because kalimat tasweer la tantabiq alayh. Ahkam tasweer la tantabiq alayh. The rulings of tasweer do not apply to it. Everybody understand this? So in Western countries, or even Eastern countries, Middle Eastern countries, but we're talking about Muslim minorities in Canada and the UK, sometimes there is a ruling that is haram. But for one reason or another, the Mufti in Australia does not apply it to the people. Or the ruling does not apply to the Australian Muslims. Let's make a sheer example of this. This is just a hypothetical example. Nobody quote me on this. Riba, what they asked about earlier. The concept of riba and that which is dar al-harb. That's a long discussion in itself as well. Dar al-harb. What's dar al-harb? The general ruling is that if they don't have a type, let's leave that off for now. Al-Muhim, dar al-kufr, all right? A place in which the Muslims are not ruling. The Muslims are weak and inferior. The Muslims don't have the upper hand. There is no Sharia being applied. Everybody got this? And the Muslims live there. Does riba, or is riba haram? No doubt about that. The Prophet ﷺ says, "Ijtanibu sab'a al-mubiqat." Avoid the 7 destroyers. And from them he says, وَأَكْلُ riba, eating riba. We all know the famous hadith in the Sahihain. Everybody got this or not? Riba is a major sin. Tayyib? Clear on that. But somebody may say in Australia, since the Muslims don't have their own economic system, they don't have independent finances, there is no real, true, genuine Islamic bank, mortgaging, renting, financing, leasing. Somebody could say that the ruling of riba does not apply to mortgages and getting homes. But the actual ruling of riba remains what? That does not change. But the intibaq, the tatbiq, the application of the ruling does change and vary. Everybody got this? But the ruling does not necessarily what? Change. We understand this or not? The ruling doesn't what? The ruling doesn't what? Change. The ruling does not change. A shirt doesn't change. There's place for the arms, place for the head. It covers all, if not most of the upper body. That doesn't change. A button-up shirt, a dress shirt, a sweater, this, a blouse for a woman, see-through, mesh, breathable, silk, cotton, polyester. The color, the style of the shirt is what? Endless. It's endless. It applies to the time, the weather. Why are you wearing a shirt? What's the shirt for? A business shirt, a kung fu shirt. Everybody understand this? A bus driver has on a shirt, a uniform. I have really, really long arms. You have really, really short arms. You have really broad, wide shoulders. My shoulders are skinny and slim. I have a long neck. Heck of that. Those things change, but the shirt, the definition of a shirt doesn't what? Doesn't change. A shirt is a shirt, period. But the style, the tailor-made size, that what? That changes. So we have to understand this is extremely important in fiqh in general, let alone in fiqh al-aqalliyat, what they asked about the other day. Minorities, Muslim minorities. The ruling that hijab is mandatory. But in this situation, if the sister asks me, can I not wear the hijab? I'm a new Muslim. My family, they're Mormons. I live in Utah. And if they find I'm a Muslim, they're going to kick me out of my house. They're going to do this. They're going to lock me up. They're going to force me to get treated by a therapist. I say to the sister, take off your khimar. Brush your hair, comb your hair, go outside with your hair. But the ruling of hijab is what? Does not change. Period. Allah sent that over 1,400 years ago. The obligation of covering the hair. But in this situation, to this sister who lives in this Mormon house, I say, لا ينطبق عليك حكم الحجاب. Everybody understand this? Everybody got this or not? The ruling of the hijab does not pertain to Muslims or you, auntie. Everybody got this? And this is the importance of fatwa. The one who gives a fatwa is a master tailor. A master tailor to know the theory, know the principle. And he also has to know the style and the taste. The general rule is that the pants should be like this. But you look like a guy, maybe you need this and maybe that. And how about this and take this and add this. Your style, your taste, your skin complexion, your height, your weight, your profession. That's a master tailor. He does what? He gives you a proper garment and not something that's ready-made. One size what? Fits all. Everybody understand this? And even when you shop in a clothing store, I don't know, maybe some brothers or especially sisters, they'll spend an hour picking out one outfit. Even though it's ready-made, but they've tailor-made it. These shoes go with this scarf. I'm sitting like, my feet are tired. Let's go home. What is this? Just get the shirt and the scarf. You look nice. Khalas. Bismillah. The man. But she's like, no, the scarf has lavender in it, and a ribbon on the shoes has lavender. And the green and this is tight, this. She does what? She makes a tailor-made outfit that suits her body, her style, the event. It's a walima, it's an aqiqah. I'm wearing the clothes for you, my husband, etc. That's not the same as somebody that doesn't have a taste for style and fashion. Just shirt, pants, underwear, socks, hat, let's go, check out. It's a difference. And that's harmful to the art of fashion and style. And the same applies to Islam. It's haram to do this. It's permissible to do that. You have to say this. Any Muslim who says this, is kafir, he's mubtadi', he's a sinner. It's not right. There's certain things that have to be what? Detailed. Certain things that have to be tailor-made to the time, to the place, to the situation. But it does not mean that the theory changes. Riba is hated by Allah and His Messenger. Homosexuality is hated by Allah and His Messenger. Period. There is no, it's okay, it's all right. No, it's disgusting. It's an abomination, no doubt about that. It's an illness, it's a sickness. This person has these thoughts. Does that mean we kill him and throw him off of a cliff? No. It's a different concept. Don't mix oranges and apples, as we said. It's a different thing. But if he did this, it's different. So the rule of homosexuality is that it's what? Haram, without a doubt. Everybody understand this? But the ruling of killing a homosexual in the Islamic criminal law does not necessarily apply to this person. Everybody got this? Or the difference of the crime, sodomy, waliyadu billah, is not the same as a man liking guys. I like boys. I can't help it. I was born this way. Tayyib, we say that's how you were born. Theoretically, Allahu alam, but you say that's how you were born. No problem. That's fine. But that does not change the ruling of homosexuality. And I've heard many people, they say it's okay, it's nothing wrong with being a homosexual in Islam. Because you can't control your emotions. You're not held responsible for your emotions. Wallahi, people have said this. Speakers, well-known speakers. You don't have control of your emotions, so it's okay to like men. These guys, they're mixing how many things together? Two different things. The theory does not what? Period. Hijab is what? Mandatory upon a woman who reaches the age of puberty. Mandatory. Riba is what? Haram, cursed. Everybody understand this? Homosexuality is what? Haram, cursed. And the list goes on. But this person's situation, this new Muslim, this person in this person, I never did it, I just thought about it. We say it's what? Everybody got that? So it's very important for us to understand the rulings of Allah and His Messenger that are agreed upon, they don't change. The application, what? Could change. How to understand it? Does this person, that could what? Change. Everybody got this? And the easiest example for this is a new Muslim. A new Muslim, he enters into Islam, there is no progressive steps. There are no progressive steps. There's no progression. There is no step by step by step. The Sahaba, they had that advantage. When they first accepted Islam, Khamr wasn't haram. Hijab wasn't mandatory. Jihad wasn't mandatory. There are many things that they didn't have to do. And as they grew in faith and iman, their hearts became strong. Their minds became strong. Their bodies became strong. Then Allah did what? He sent down the legislations. Don't do this. Don't do this. Divorce is this. You cannot inherit like this. You cannot do this. Don't treat the orphans like that. They had the ability to grow and mature. When you accept Islam, you're held responsible for what? All of the rulings. That's the ruling. But the application is the same. You as a new Muslim, you are to do what? Take your time, step by step, learn, practice, let the faith grow in your heart, get knowledge. The brother comes to the masjid, he has a tattoo, he smells like weed, he has a whiskey bottle in his back pocket, his pants are beneath his ankles, he's shaving his face, he's this, he came to the girlfriend, oh, this is my girlfriend, Tanya. Yeah, we both want to take shahada. Oh, leave her, go make ghusl, remove the tattoo, go brush your teeth, throw away the whiskey bottle, so on and so on and so forth. No. Is it haram to drink? Yes. Haram to smoke? Yes. Haram to have a girlfriend? Without a doubt. Haram to have your pants beneath your ankles? No doubt. Haram to shave your face? What? No doubt. The rulings don't change. But it doesn't mean that's why I'm going to say to this new Muslim who just walked off of the street with his girlfriend, him and Tanya. Literally. They thought just now Isa was Allah. Allah blessed him, opened up his heart. It's a what? Progressive steps. If he asks me, I have to tell him. If he wants to know, I have to do what? Tell him. But it doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily throw it and force it upon him. Because his specific situation, he's like the what? There you go. He's like the what? Sahaba. He needs time to do what? grow, be around the Muslims, look at the Muslims, hear the Muslims, and he'll naturally love it and have to fight those things. Everybody got this or not? We understand this or not? We got this? I don't know if any of you brothers remember some years ago, guy came in the masjid. He was Mexican, okay? And he said, I want to take Shahada. I want to be a Muslim. He says, but I love smoking weed. I can't stop smoking weed. And I have a girlfriend, and I just took her to what? I'm going to take her to Cancun, Mexico. Wallah al-Azim, that's what he said. I promised to take her on vacation. We're going to go to Cancun. They were living in America. He originally was from Mexico. I don't know where his girlfriend was from. He said, so I hear what you're saying. It makes sense. The masjid was full, it was packed. Maybe you were there, Sheikh Khan, years ago. And he said, what? I told him, I said, and I pointed in the crowd. I said, we have among us brothers who what? Still smoke weed. And they've been Muslim their whole lives, and they still smoke weed. Muslim names, Muslim country, and they still what? Smoke weed. That doesn't mean that you can't be a Muslim if you're addicted to smoke weed. There are brothers in this masjid that have what? Well, right-hand possessions, let's say that. What the other? They have girlfriends. So being a Muslim does not mean that you turn what? Perfectly. You become a saint overnight. Yes, you have to strive for perfection, no doubt. Yes, you have to really get off of the weed, yes. You have to either marry the girlfriend or part ways with her, no doubt about that. Cover up your tattoos, no doubt about that. Remove them if you can, no doubt about that. Everybody understand this? But not instantly, because it is as if he is a Sahabi who lived in the first early years of Mecca. The rules didn't come down towards the end of the Meccan period, let alone in the time of Medina. But the rules are written in stone. No, they don't change. That was the class, that's done. But the application could possibly change. Everybody understand this? And I don't think anyone with any sense is going to reject this wisdom and the fruits that it's going to bear, especially upon new Muslims or people that were Muslims, but as the brother said, they lived in their Jahiliyyah. I was born Muslim, I came from Pakistan, I came from Bangladesh, I came from Guyana, I never prayed, I never did this, I never made Hajj, I never fasted, I smoked, I drunk, I slept with girls. I came to New York City, I sat in class, I heard the beauty of the Quran, then I start practicing. I start growing my beard, I start living Islam. It takes what? Wallahu alam.
Got a bunch of questions.
Fadl.
Time, right?
Tayyib.
Inshallah. Try not to ask that.
Adam's not asking a question tonight. Khalas. You're banned. أنت ممنوع سؤال.
And so is Father. I said,
That's right.
you can look at me as much as you want. Barakallahu feek.
Shukran.
Initials SN from Philly, Pennsylvania, USA. What is the correct way to deal with a close family member who apostates from Islam?
First of all, pray for them. Make dua for them. Second of all, when you see him, you gotta talk to him straight up. You gotta explain to them the seriousness of what he or she has done. You could die tomorrow. This is real. Wake up. No matter what you're going through, Allah has more mercy. وَوَسِعَتْ رَحْمَتِي كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Allah says, my mercy outstretches all things. You got somebody pregnant, you're hooked on some type of drugs, you can't get off, you've lost hope, you've wasted this money, somebody's trying to kill you, whatever the case, you got HIV, whatever the case is. Why you've left Islam, why you think about killing yourself and this and that, I'm not a Muslim anymore, why the other billah, Allah has more mercy than any problem that you're going through. Tell them these things and then sit down and talk with them. Why are you not a Muslim anymore? What's the matter? And many times people become frustrated. They become tired. They become exhausted. They become stressed. They become depressed, which leaves them or causes them to leave Islam. Or they may leave Islam because of something that's lust, a lustful situation. There's a girl I was messing with. And she said, I got to be a Christian to be with her. This is real. I got to be a Christian if I want to be with her. Beautiful woman. Lovely woman. Perfect character. She said, I'll be with you. I'm yours, but you can't go to the mosque. You got to wear a cross. Waliyadu billah. I understand this. You can talk to him. Okay, is he that beautiful? Worth your deen? Does it make sense? Going to hellfire? Everything that you believed in, that you know is the truth? Is that worth a woman? No matter how beautiful and pretty she is, she's going to get old. Her face is going to wrinkle. Let alone if you may not even have the ability to be with her. She may leave you. She may die. She may be unchaste, though. She may be a whore. This is a reality. So talk to them with logical sense. You left Islam because of money, a job. Is the money worth it? Is money going to save your soul? Are you guaranteed that money? Are you going to live long to get that money? Everybody understand this? And some people, they accept Islam because of cultural practices. We come from Bangladesh, and a sister, she leaves Islam because of an honor killing. They killed my younger sister. She had a boyfriend. Her father found pictures on her phone. She's pregnant, so they beat her in the street like a dog. They stoned to the death in the street. So I'm leaving Islam. Islam is unjust. Islam is unfair. Islam, it suppresses women. It degrades women. It berates women. Islam does not say that. That's culture of Bangladesh, of Pakistan, of Afghanistan. There's no hadith saying stone a woman in the middle of the street. There's no verse in the Quran saying that if you think that your daughter made zina, kill her. No. Let alone your son. Your son, he makes zina. He's known. He's a zani. Did you kill him? No. So that's not Islam. Many people, when they leave Islam, it's based off of what? Culture, and not Islam. And they think that that cultural practice is Islam. Female genital mutilation. It's wrong to do this to women. It's unfair, and it's this and it's that. You want us to have your kids, but you destroy our bodies. Islam never ever said do that to a woman's private area. Never. So you have to talk to the person. You have to diagnose the problem. What's the matter? What's wrong? Sit with them. Talk with them. You have to be serious with them. You have to be stern, but don't rush and be judgmental until after you talk with them. You got to talk with them first. Sit down and be upfront, be up honest. Talk to me. If they don't want to hear it, I don't care. Get out of my face. I'm not a Muslim. Okay, no problem. I can't help you. Come back, whatever the case may be. So it depends on the person. It depends on the level of knowledge that you have, the wisdom that you have. Pray for them. Talk to them if you can. If you can't, then have someone talk to them. And last but not least, be careful of them having strong doubts about Islam that may affect you. Be careful about them having strong doubts about Islam that may affect you. Wallahu alam.
The questioner initials AA from Brooklyn, New York. If a person prays behind the imam and they make a mistake by laughing, are they to repeat the salah or perform the prostration of forgetfulness?
Neither of the two.
Next questioner from
Fadal Talib.
So is there anything in the authentic Sunnah or in the Quran that it's preferable to not work after Jummah?
To not work after Jumu'ah? I don't know of anything regarding that. Wa alaikum assalam to Allah. I don't know of anything after that except for the generality of Jumu'ah being Eid. The generality of Jumu'ah being what? Eid, a holiday, holy day, festive day. There's no doubt about that. But the Quran says, Allah says what? فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةِ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ. Go, leave the mosque, leave the masjid, seek Allah's bounty. Seek what? Allah's bounty. So the concept of a merchant, someone who sells something or sells things, that's one thing. But if you have a typical job or 9 to 5 or office or you work construction, whatever, there lies no doubt. If you have the ability, take off. That way you can truly actualize Eid. It's a day, no work, rest, eat, drink. Let me take my kids out, have fun, spend some extra time with my wife. Go do something I don't have the time to do when I'm, slaving Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5, paying bills, making ends meet. You see what I'm saying to you? No doubt. But to someone who's a merchant, Jumu'ah may be a what? The Eid is time to get rizq. Plenty of Muslims are cheerful. The Muslims are happy. Muslims are coming from work. They want to what? They want or buy nice things for the Eid. For the what? For the Eid. Gifts, this, that, perfume, clothes, vegetables, fruit, food, platters. So there's a balance. But to just say don't work at all, you can't work, you shouldn't work at all, I don't know of anything specific. The generality of Eid, yes. Wallahu alam. Fadl Adam.
Is a person allowed to charge and make a living for doing hijama?
Is a person allowed to charge and to do or make a living in hijama? Yes, bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you can do it for free, that's best. That's good. Helping people out. But there are many steps and processes that go into hijama. Skill, time, talent, medical, certification, licensing, hygiene, and things like this, which clearly take a load of time and energy. There's no doubt about that. And hijama, things were simple in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Similar to selling a cat. There's a hadith in Sahih Muslim that says that the Prophet ﷺ forbade selling of felines. Everybody understand this? There are also hadiths in which the Prophet ﷺ forbade the product of a dog. The profit from a dog. Everybody understand this? So the ulama who say, we know that the Sunnah clearly tells us, let alone the Quran, about hunting dogs, guard dogs, a sheep dog. Everybody understand this? You know the sheepdog, Lassie? Brothers don't know who Lassie is? This is reality. This is real for you to understand, to do what? Conceptualize it. Because many people from the city, they don't know what a sheepdog is. And when you say Lassie, like, oh, sheepdog. Everybody got this. It helps out the shepherd, barks, a wolf, and the list goes on. A sheepdog, a dog for a shepherd. Everybody got this or not? So they say if it's permissible to have these dogs, it's not haram. It's not a means of the angels not entering the home, of the rewards being diminished. Then how am I to get the dog? Or if it's permissible to have the cat, innaha min at-tawafin alaykum wa tawafat. The cats pass by you. They're in it's a domesticated animal. It's not najis. Even though it eats meat, it hunts mice and rats. It does things. It has claws, it has teeth. How am I supposed to get the cat if the cat is not to be sold or bought? Everybody got this or not? Everybody understand this? So some of the ulama, they say, this is what they say. They say, yuhassiluhu tahsilan. Just get the dog, however you get it. You walk down the street, you trip, you stumble, let's take this dog to my hunting dog. Or they say about cats, the reason they say that the hikmah behind this hadith is that a person who sells cats is considered to be low and base. He's low and he's base. How can you sell a cat for somebody? It's a kitten. You're supposed to just what? Give it as a gift. That doesn't necessarily apply to every situation in 2017, in which there are certain dogs and certain cats that are clean, inspected, neutered, taken care of, fed, let alone bred. This dog is bred. It comes from a bloodline. It's not a mud. It's pure blood dog. Everybody understand this? This cat, long hair, short hair, Egyptian this type of cat. It's a purebred cat. It's known to be good around kids, to be a good mouser. It hunts mice well. It keeps the house, etc. Everybody understand this? So you can't just walk and stumble upon this type of quality of cat for what? For free. And the same applies to the hijama. To the what? That's the whole purpose of me talking about the dogs and stuff. The hijama. Back in the days of the Prophet, perhaps it was what? Relatively easier. It was simpler. You could give the person who gave the hijama a gift. You give him a couple shillings, some coins, sadaqah. He doesn't charge you. You need hijama? Faddal. How much is it? Faddal. Faddal. Whatever you bring, they say overseas, the cab drivers. So whatever you give is good. Everybody understand this? And some people, they actually what?
Give them nothing.
No, they actually, see, that's the extreme. See? You see what the shaitan does? No, Nafis himself is talking about not giving. No doubt about that. Not some people know. Nafis, no doubt. You see the extreme now? All right, Fadl Khalas. So I can close the cab door. Guy has kids at home. But there's some cab drivers, they say Tafadl and they honestly what? They really mean it. Tafadl, labas. Whatever you give is good. Everybody understand it? And there's some people that say that and they're joking. You give them a cup, and they grab your hand. No, give me more. Wallahi. Everybody understand this? So the point I'm trying to get to is the concept of hijama. The benefit of the hijama, the help of the hijama, the medicinal purpose of the hijama. Doing a favor for your brother, and your brother says what? Tfaddal. But nowadays, there are rules, there are restrictions, there are laws. You can't just necessarily do hijama in a public place unless you're what? Certified, licensed, which costs money. Rent costs money. Supplies cost money. Plastic gloves, the suction cup, this costs what? Money. So you can't necessarily say that hadith necessarily applies to all situations. Kasb al-hajjami khabith. Everybody got this or not? But if you're doing it in your house, and you can help out a brother for free, bismillah. Why charge him for something like this? Or you can say, there's a box. If you want to give a donation, tfaddal. Whatever you want to pay, tfaddal. Everybody understand this or not? You got this? Wallahu alam.
In Saudi, they have hijama clinics, no? When we
They
actually
have
pay.
hijama clinics, no doubt.
It's not free, right?
No.
It's not. They do to give discounts for the students, I believe. Question from online. Assalamu alaikum, MC, New Jersey. If a woman asks for a khulla, is this irrevocable?
If a woman asks for the khula and the husband accepts it or grants it, it's done. Khalas. It's finished. Can't irrevoke it. No, you can't take it back once he allows it. Once he takes it, accepts it, it's finished. But the ease of it is that if you have a regret or you said it out of haste or anger, then you can what? Remarry. But it's done according to this view, because all ulama don't agree upon this. Some ulama say the khul is talaq. Some say it's talqa. And others they say it's fasakh. They say it's an abatement or annulment of the contract, totally. So according to that view, which most people implement here in America, or many, you get married to the brother whenever you want, but it has to be new contract. New contract. New mahar. Witnesses, wali. You can't, it's not raja. You just don't take her back. Wallahu alam.
Initial, brother Tariq ibn Bilal, Flint, Michigan. What is the permissibility of having a walima after a few years after the nikah? Consider that the lack of immediacy of having the walima was because of the lack of the means to do so.
La bas, inshallah. Khair. You didn't have the money, do it later on if you can. Inshallah. La bas.
Assalamu alaikum, NYC. I avoid my mother because of the way she speaks to me in a
From where? Where's the questioner from?
Assalamu alaikum, NYC, New York City.
Okay, NY, the initials.
No, New York City.
We have to have the initials.
AA.
The initials are not.
AA.
Sorry.
AA. I avoid my mother because of the way she speaks to me in a hurtful manner. How do I explain to her that what she says is hurtful to me without being disrespectful?
A wise man once said, the best thing to do when it's raining is to let it rain. It's the best thing to do. Run and hide and this and that. Just let the water what? It's going to fall down. Just that simple. A rainy day is a rainy day. Don't get upset. Don't get blue. It's a what? It's a rainy day. Let the rain pour on you. Class. Your mother talks to you in a hurtful tone. Just tell her. Just like that. It's just that simple. No lecture. No introduction. Tell her just like that. You hurt my feelings. It hurts me what you say to me. Just like that. That's it. Wallahu alam.
So, initials NB from Toronto. Is it wise for a woman to become a raqiya as there is a time from the month where she cannot make wudu and protect herself?
Yes, is wise. A woman, or we need women who are raqiyas as well. Yes, no doubt. We need raqiyat, yes. We need women that are reciters and jinn hunters, jinn slayers. When I was in Yemen, there was a sister that was notorious for slaying jinn. And I can remember the match that we were in, every day there was a jinn exorcism, every day. Sister's name was al-Bara. Okay? She was known for what? Killing jinn. She was a killer. Cold-blooded jinn killer. It's a true story. Everybody understand this? So if she wasn't there, I'm not going to learn it because I get a menstrual cycle, then what? Go to the brothers. The sheikh is busy. He can't touch her. He can't see her exposed. Da, da, da. No. We need equal amount, if not more, women in the positions that the men have, in the positions that a woman is allowed to have. In a position that a what? Allowed to have. Not imams or other things. Don't say, oh, Mufti said a woman can be a imam. I didn't say that. Everybody saying this? Because there are things in which ease, convenience, embarrassment is needed to what? For there to be a woman. If the sister has the ilm and the knowledge, let her go to the woman. Let her do the ruqyah in the house. Her clothes want to come flying off. It's uncomfortable. It's not good for men. Everybody understand this? Even if it's going to be a time in which a woman doesn't have wudu. So if you feel uncomfortable, then don't do the ruqyah when you're mincing. Don't do the ruqyah what? When you're mincing. If it's an emergency and you have to do the ruqyah and you're menstruating, who said that you can't make wudu? That's an example of a what? Full cup. Who said that you can't make wudu? Who said that it's haram to make wudu or the wudu doesn't have any benefit? Everybody understand this? We studied in Lulu Marjan the hadith about the junub doing what? Making wudu before sleep, even though he's still junub. It's still hadith akbar, but the wudu yukhaffif, lessens, slightens. And some of the ulamas we read, they also say the same about a woman who's mincing. Khaffif, the barakah of the tahara, even though she's not absolutely pure and absolutely clean. Let alone the fact that the sister in this situation, she's striving to do the best that she can. So if it's an emergency and you have to do the ruqyah on your menses, make wudu. Do what you gotta do. If it's an emergency. If it's not an emergency, then tell the sister to wait. I have 3 days, that's my menses. Okay, we'll do the ruqyah on Monday. If it's not a death, life-threatening thing, which many people, they come and they have a jinn or sihr or ayn, hasad. Some brothers say future hasad, Allahu alam about that, future hasad. If it can wait, then what? You say what? Come back. And it's no different than medicine. You have the ER and then you have the what? Normal doctor's appointment. Emergency room, it cannot wait. This person is bleeding, leaking. This person's dying. Broken arm, extreme pain. They have to get cured right now. And then the person, I have this problem, it's burning, it feels sore, something is itching, I have a rash, I have this, I have that. It's okay, coming on Monday. Coming on Wednesday. It's not an emergency. So it's just that simple. Wallahu alam.
Initials Gasser from Brooklyn.
Allah, gotta bring more.
If debit,
Gotta bring more. No tea, no class. Tayyib. Fadda.
initials Gasser. That's not a Gasser from Brooklyn. If debit is haram, are we expected to keep thousands of dollars under our mattress?
You have to ask those who say that debit cards are haram. I didn't say that. We gave a hypothetical example. If you say this is haram, then it could also apply to something else. Everybody understand this? That's first and foremost. Secondly is, the argument is that just as you put your trust in the law with other things, put your trust in the law with regards to the what? Money. Mattress or the painting, refrigerator, freezer. Put your money in the freezer. Behind the what? Behind the paint. We mentioned that. Or some people may have a doghouse. Put it under the doghouse. Put it in the under the car. Al-Muhim. Wherever you stash your money at. Everybody got this?
GPS location. Dig a hole 10 feet deep.
Some people, they say that you have to put your trust in the law. Just because you can't do this haram, you can't shave your beard to get a job, so you can't put your money in the riba bank. Who keeps your money safe? J.P. Morgan? Or Rabbus Samawati wal Ard? Everybody understand this? So it could apply to that too. And other people say, no, it's a balance. Allah has not put hardship upon us. But it can apply what? You got to be careful. It can swing. The pendulum swings what? Both ways. You got to be careful. You have to be what? Careful. And among the view, this one and that one, there are levels to it as well. Everybody understand this? So if that's how you feel, someone's going to steal your money, someone knows that you're working, you keep your money in your house, they're going to rob you, they're going to tie you up, you have to tie somebody up. And that's one thing. Fear Allah to the what? Best of your ability. But if you feel confident, you feel safe, then bidinillah, don't deal with the riba banks. But the issue doesn't stop at the bank. And we don't go too deep. We said about the dollar bill. What does the dollar bill mean? What does the dollar bill symbolize?
100 pennies.
A legal tender, a note that the dollar bill is not actually, was not supposed to be actually what? It's a long discussion in itself. Wallahu alam. No tea, no questions.
AK, initials AK from Brooklyn.
The Mufti fatwa machine runs off of what? Gasoline. You gotta put gas in the car. No gas, no what?
Initials AK from Brooklyn, New York. What is the ruling on using medication for ADHD? After avoiding medication for some time, I came to realize my situation is getting worse. Can I seek treatment?
So, as far as ADHD, then that's a very long medical discussion as well. And there are many people who have different theories. Some people say it's real, it's actual. Other people say it is no such thing as ADHD. I'm not here to get into that right now. Both sides have their proofs and their evidences and their ways of looking at it. What's important is, if you feel or if you know, you believe that you have ADHD and it's affecting your life, your ibadah, it's affecting your daily life, your children, your wife, it's affecting how you live 9 to 5 as a Muslim, And the medication is not necessarily something that's haram, an intoxicant, khinzir. It's not something that is necessarily going to do something, cause you to get Allah to be angry with you. Then that's one thing. Take the medication, put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the question is, what does the medication do? Does it cause extreme intoxication? Does the medication cause you to have more side effects, more miserableness in your life? You can't move, you can't talk, you're half asleep. So my advice to you is to seek cure, first and foremost, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Him to give you the proper guidance, to give you the sabr upon the trial and the affliction, and that you have to take a sacrifice. If you take the medicine, there's a list of side effects. Perhaps, I don't know too much about ADHD. If you don't take the medicine, it's a problem, but it's better than some of those side effects, or being drunk or doped out, half asleep, and things like this. So you have to pick and choose sometime, pick your poison sometime. I'm not taking that medicine, even though it helps me out, but it causes me to do this. And it makes me do this, it makes me act like that. I'd rather deal with the pain than be like a drug addict. Everybody understand this? I'd rather do this instead of losing that. Many people, this is a reality of sacrifice. You start talking about cancer, prostate cancer. It says you may have this problem if you get treatment. Some people say, I'll live with the cancer and keep disability. Everybody has to pick and choose. What's most important to you? What's most harmful to you? You have to seek guidance in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahu alam. We'll conclude our Q&A session tonight. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Jazakumullah khairan.
This is AD from Dearborn, Michigan. Said, can you please educate me on who are Madkhalis and who's the founder of this group? Does it have to do anything with Rabi al-Madkhali?